Quitting porn is not a straight line. And most people relapse because they have false expectations and they think it's going to be a 7-day trick that they can do that lasts forever. And I hate to say it, but it just doesn't work like that. But if you can understand the 3 phases that your brain does go through when you quit pornography, then you might have a fighting chance of breaking this habit. And the reason I'm here telling you this right now was because for 10 years, I was in the dark about my addiction. And I had very bad expectations of what the road to recovery even was. I just didn't know how it was supposed to look like. So I never knew how to actually break free. It was like I was walking down a path with no lights overhead, and it was just straight darkness. So I was lost. I didn't understood the 3 main phases that the brain goes through, which is the crash, the flatline, and the most important part, which I will save until the end. And once I actually understood the 3 phases, I was not only to break myself free from a 10-year addiction, but I've been able to show these exact phases to hundreds of my personal clients to help them break free. Because understanding this was the light that I needed to actually see clearly. So by the end of this video, you have the light that you need to see the path to recovery so you can actually know what to expect. So the first step that you can expect to see is between day 1 and like day 14. And it's called the crash. Because during this first week, maybe like 2 weeks, you're gonna feel a little bit off. And that's totally normal because your brain was just getting used to having huge amounts and way too much of this feel-good chemical that once you take it away, you just need some time to readjust, and that's fine. And most guys fail here because they think that this time right here, the brain is readjusting. They mistake that for feeling of, oh, I need porn to feel good, or I don't feel the same without it, or I miss pornography and the feeling that it gives me. And those kind of thoughts and those, things that go on in your mind, that's normal. Again, you're human. You just need some time to readjust. So what I felt like during these days were a little bit of weird sleeping. I would wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, or I'd have trouble falling asleep. And there were even times where I got mad, like easily, like I had kind of a short fuse. And I did feel bad because I took it out on, friends and people that actually cared about me. But just expect it. And you knowing what's going on is going to take away like half the power. It's kind of like if you were playing a game and you saw the other team's entire playbook. It becomes easy to win when you know what's going to happen. And stage 2 is the flatline. When I was going through the flatline stages, I did think something was a little bit off with me. I had lower libido, so I wasn't getting erections or like turned on as easily. And it was weird because we're so used to getting our rocks off the pixels that without it, our brain is kind of confused. And it's just like crazy that we could do that to ourselves. But of course, as the days went on, my libido did get healthier and way better than what it was before. And I had better erections in real life as I went through the journey. But again, when I was going through the flatline, it did feel a little bit off. And again, that's normal. And something else that happened is porn was on my mind a lot. I would think, well, if I was watching it right now, I would be able to have an erection. And right now I can't. And that's why it can be difficult for a lot of men to really make it past this mark. And there were also some times where I would feel clarity, like I would feel really good and on top of the world because it felt good not to go back into that habit. But there were other times where I was having a lot of brain fog, surprisingly, because I would have brain fog after watching porn, and it's like I was still getting brain fog now. And that confused me for a little bit. But ever since then, like now, my mental clarity, it's unmatched. I felt like I don't even know where I would have been if this habit didn't hold me back so long. Like, I honestly feel like a brand new person. And that just comes back to what we were talking about earlier. Changing. You're just changing the amount of dopamine going into the brain. And it could feel off for a little bit, okay? Because it was used to getting these huge spikes. Like, think if someone dumped a bucket filled of dopamine water onto your brain, and now it's getting like sprinklers of dopamine water. It just has to readjust and grow a little bit differently. And during this time is when your brain has to start rewiring the way that you get turned on and the way you get erections and the way you can actually focus and regulate yourself without this constant amount of dopamine flooding your system. Again, it's just your body readjusting speed. And a great way that I found to reverse the brain fog is do exercises where you need to focus. Ride your bike, read, do puzzles or Sudoku or Wordle. weightlift, like something where you have to use your mind a little bit and just focus. And this next thing hasn't happened to me personally, but for some of my clients, they've experienced even some physical tension, almost symptoms of like a fever or a cold, where their body's physically craving pornography. And this is common among other addictions, one of those tricks that pornography plays to try to bring you back. And the reason for this is not only because your hormones are adjusting, but also because your nervous system is actually resetting. Because now when you have these kind of feelings of loneliness or anger or overwhelm or stress, and those initial emotions are what probably caused you to go back to pornography, your body and your actual brain is learning how to deal with it without that injection of adult content. So it can take a toll on you sometimes. So again, just expect it. And the way I like to think about this was actually a saying from Alex Hormozi. He talks about eating glass. So it's kind of like if you have to eat glass and bring the pain forward so that you don't have to deal with the pain in the future. Like, okay, would you rather suffer and go through some discomfort now for a few weeks or even a few months, even 6 or 7 months, or go through the cycle of stopping and quitting and stopping and quitting and then relapsing over and over and over again? And that cycle just continue for the rest of your life. Ask yourself that question. And last but not least is the rewiring phase. So during this phase, you're actually going to learn how to start dealing with the pornography urges and here's a key factor, as long as you learn the right way to overcome them and you weren't just guessing or you weren't just willpowering your way through it. You'll actually understand how to overcome these urges consistently, so it becomes a system. And this is where I really started to feel the benefits of quitting. And believe me, I just want to point this out really quick. These timelines are different for everyone. What can be a few weeks for me might take a few months for you, or might take a few days for you. But the rewiring process is the best part as long as you stick through it. And as long as you keep following the right system to freedom. Because since I was going through porn-induced erectile dysfunction, over the next 3 to 6 months, I actually started getting my regular erections back with real life interactions on a consistent basis. And the more I practiced, the more confident I felt in myself as well. And although it is still a process, your brain is actively rewiring itself during the rebuild phase. And once it's done going through this process, you can expect a healthier sexual relationships, more confidence internally. You can expect your motivation and brain fog to just be way better. And you can just expect to feel healthier on a day-to-day basis. And let me ask you this. How would your life feel different if you were able to feel more motivated, if you were able to feel more focused, if you were able to have better sexual relationships? Is it worth going through a few weeks or even a few months of discomfort for that? Real question. So if you feel like it's worth going through a couple of months of rewiring so that you can be free from pornography, click the link below. I'll invite you to schedule a root session call where we're going to dive into your specific situation, really understand your urges, and build a game plan for you to break free. I also have another link down below to a relapse protocol. I'll give you a short training on how to turn relapses into learning opportunities without shame so that you can build a plan for next time. And those are for the more serious people that are actually ready to start the path to freedom. And for everybody else, just remember these 3 stages: the initial crash, the flatline, and the rewiring. Now that you understand these and you can expect what is to come, you have a way better chance of actually making it through to freedom. And keep in mind, if you're feeling anything that was mentioned in this video, you're not alone. You're actually just like the rest of us. So best of luck to you, and if you want to improve the chances of you quitting by having someone one-on-one to walk you through this, just click the link below and let's chat. See ya.